there were some guys at 7 and a couple guys at 6 under, and Robert MacIntyre was nowhere to be seen at the leaderboard. And it wasn't really until Sunday where he made a charge. On the round 2, he's able to play well on the front 9, which he wasn't really able to do, in his first round, the front 9 being 1 through 9. He played it as the back 9 on his he played it as the back 9 on the on Thursday. That's what I was trying to say. But on the par 5, he's able to get a pretty great second shot that gave him an up and down for birdie. 5th hole, he almost drives the green. It was the 321 yard par 4. We saw a lot of eagles on this hole this weekend, but he wasn't able to do so. 6th, easy short par 3, he's able to birdie. 12, he's able to birdie another par 3 with a very difficult pin location. Very impressive tee shot there. And then 13 on a par 4, he is able to get a fantastic second shot into the green. His irons were working really well on a lot of these holes, and he did putt very well also. So his round 2, it's 5 under, put him at 8 under for the weekend. That put him only a few strokes back, and then a fantastic Saturday really put him in contention. He went 7 under on Saturday after an eagle on 5, so birdies 3 again. He birdies 4 this time. He eagles 5 instead of only birdieing it, which is very, very impressive. 7, a birdie. 10, a birdie. 11, birdie. He just absolutely attacked the golf course on moving day. That put him in great contention. He knew exactly how he wanted to play to put himself at the top of the leaderboard. He does give some strokes back on 12 and 18, but birdies on 15, the 7th hardest hole, and 16, the 3rd easiest hole, was able to make him 2 under on the back 9. After going 5 under on the front 9, this guy played some fantastic and impressive golf, putting himself into contention for the win here. And then in the 4th and final round, this is what we're going to be spending most of this segment talking about, this 4th and final round. It's a bogey on 2, then birdie on 5. And at this point, going into the turn, it was really Adam Scott that was in control. Ludwig Goldberg, who came in with the 36 and 54 hole lead in this tournament, just kind of collapsed on the front 9. He wasn't able to play well. It wasn't really a collapse. He just wasn't able to find birdies. He was stuck on a par train for most of the front 9, and then it was a collapse on the back 9 where he was just trying to attack things and nothing really worked. He does get a 6 on 16. We'll talk more about Ludwig Goldberg's weekend in the second segment, but he kind of throws it away, and that gives Robert MacIntyre, Adam Scott, Aaron Rai, Rory McIlroy, all these guys had great opportunity. Aaron Rai, of course, playing in the morning, went 7 under, coming from nowhere, put himself right in contention. Unfortunately for him, it wasn't enough. But Robert MacIntyre, around like hole 10, 11, and 12, he's looking up to the leaderboard, and it's Adam Scott that has a 3-stroke lead around that back 9. After he birdies 9 and 10, I think he's at 17. Robert MacIntyre was around 14, and then that's really when Robert MacIntyre turned it around. He saw that leaderboard and wanted to go out and win this one. 14, it's a birdie on a par 3. It's a fantastic putt about 20 feet into a difficult pin position on the front left with slope going out of the green. If he misses this long, this is going to be missed on the green. It's going to be a bogey, and Adam Scott is probably your champion here at the Genesis Scottish Open. But he makes it. And then 15, able to get a par on a pretty difficult hole. That one was tied for 6th throughout the weekend of difficulty. And then 16, here's where we got some controversy. 16, par 5, plays 568 yard. It is the easiest hole on the golf course if you hit the fairway. However, there's rough on that right side of the fairway that if you find yourself into, good luck getting out of. Good luck even finding the ball because it just sinks into it. And Robert MacIntyre's tee shot went over there. And he went to his ball and he had some difficulty finding it. He then takes a practice swing and discovers that there's a sprinkler head pretty much where his ball is, gets the rule official over. The rule official gives him free relief. He picks up his ball, plants it, or gives it its drop, but it gives it such a better lie. Like, his ball is sunk into this very, very thick grass before he makes his drop, and then after his drop, it comes out clean. You could see the ball, it's easy to get out of, and he then gets a 250-yard shot. Well, first off, let me tell you, you still need to execute it, right? Like, it's a very, very, very difficult second shot. He puts it within 4 feet. So kudos to him, right? He doesn't win the tournament because of a ruling, although that's kind of what people want to make it out to be. But man, that helps him out a lot. Adam Scott could definitely be the winner of this Genesis Scottish Open if the ruling doesn't go that way. If they decided to not give him that relief, because we don't really know if his ball was on a sprinkler head. It was like the sprinkler head was buried into this rough with everything else. So it's just a rule in golf, and it's a fair rule. We've seen it plenty of times throughout this season that people got improved lies because they were able to take a free relief drop, club length away, no closer to the hole, and it has to be in the same stuff, but you're able to take that drop, and it's different than you dropping it from your knee is a lot different than the ball coming in from 120 feet into the air and coming down. It's gonna sink differently, so of course it's gonna be a little bit beneficial, but when they get the free relief, it's just luck in it. Like, you can't plan to be like, I'm gonna land on that sprinkler head so that if I miss right, I'm gonna aim for that sprinkler head. You can't do that. Like, yes, these guys are so good at accuracy. They're not that good. If they were that good, there would be a hole in one every single hole, every single par 3 at least. So these guys are accurate, and these guys are really good, but they aren't that level. So people, and there are definitely people that are complaining about this. I think it's a little unwarranted is what I would say. But Robert MacIntyre goes on to birdie 18, and the birdie on 18 gave him the win because Adam Scott was unable to. He does get a par on 18. And that's the end of the tournament. That is Robert MacIntyre winning in Scotland, winning in his home country. I don't know how far away he lives from where it was at, but just looking at Robert MacIntyre's recent finishes, it's so volatile. It is so confusing. This entire year for him is so confusing. Starts the year at the Sunny Open, T52, making the cut, and then 3 straight missed cuts in the Amex, in the Farmers Insurance, and in the Waste Management Phoenix Open. 3 straight missed cuts. T6 at the Mexico Open, T60 at the Cognizant, T32 at the Puerto Rico Open, cut at the Players, T33 at the Valspar, cut at the Houston Open, T8 at the Zurich Classic, cut at the CJ Cup Byron Nelson, T13 at the Myrtle Beach, T8 at the PGA Championship, cut at the Charles Schwab, won the RBC Canadian Open out of nowhere, cut at the US Open the following week, 2 weeks from that win, and T16 at the Travelers, cut at the Rocket Mortgage, won at the Genesis. Like, it's either he does so well in a tournament, like T16, 1, T8, T13, T8, or cut. Like, it's like every week. So if you're going to bet on him for the Open Championship, I would probably put some money down that he's going to miss the cut, because it's been cut 1, cut T16, cut 1. So you could take a pattern there, but that'll wrap it up for us talking about Robert MacIntyre winning at home, winning the Genesis Scottish Open. When we come back with our second segment tonight, we will be talking about the rest of the leaderboard and superlatives for the Genesis Scottish Open.
I feel like I'm losing my mind. Is everybody in the world blind? Please, Lord, give me a sign, a sign. I feel like I'm losing my mind. Is everybody in the world blind? Please, Lord, give me a sign, wanna be the greatest. Everybody on the fake shit, I look around and feel like everybody is the fakest. I make this every day and I'm impatient, hoping one day I blow up from the basement. Statement, the top is so vacant, I don't hear shit that I think is amazing. Waiting for my day when I'm playing sold out shows for 1,000 faces. Hey, give me that crown, get in my way and to be put down. It ain't your place, all this my town. If I want that shit, then I'll get it right now. I'm losing it, the noose it fits, I'm losing shit, a stupid myth. You choose to live or choose to dip, you choose to fight or lose your grip and lose a gift. I feel like I'm losing my mind. Is everybody in the world blind? Please, Lord, give me a sign, a sign. I feel like I'm losing my mind. Is everybody in the world blind?
Welcome back to the GSMC Golf Podcast presented by the GSMC Sports Network. I'm your host, Garrett McDaniel, and we're back with our second segment of the night, talking about the rest of the leaderboard and superlatives for the Genesis Scottish Open. So, along with, of course, we just got finished talking about Robert MacIntyre winning. Adam Scott, who came into Sunday third, finished second. This guy kind of comes out of nowhere, 67, 65, 64, 67, having a fantastic weekend of golf. His driver was working. He has one of the most beautiful swings, kind of similar to Ludwig Ober, who just have some beautiful swings, but putting has been an issue in his career, but was able to overcome that. Jumping from 71 to 49 in the FedEx Cup standings is huge right now in golf. If he is able to maintain that top 50 standing, he is in the BMW Championship, and he is a step closer to that Tour Championship. So very impressive. Robert MacIntyre also puts himself into the Tour Championship level. He is now 16th in the FedEx Cup with 2 wins on this season. The only other guy besides Scotty Scheffler to win twice, only guy besides Scotty and Rory to win twice this season. So very, very impressive for Bobby MacIntyre, as people call him as well. Romain Lingesk, who I believe is a European Tour player, or a DP World Tour player. It was a combined field event with the DP World Tour, and he finished third, so very impressive, coming kind of out of nowhere. Aaron Rai, who has been Aaron Rai has played some fantastic golf as of late. When you look at his recent results, it hasn't come for a win. I definitely did not say that correctly, but it hasn't resulted in a win. That's what I was trying to say. It hasn't resulted in a win, but T4 at the Genesis, T7 at the John Deere, T2 at the Rocket Mortgage, T19 at the U.S. Open, T14 at the Canadian Open. He got a T4 at the Byron Nelson, a T7 at the Houston Open. This guy has gotten in so many top 10s this season. He's gotten in 10 top 25s this season. Very, very impressive. He's played in 20 events and made 16 cuts. This guy has been very, very consistent. This is his third year on tour now, joined in 2022, and he has been playing some fantastic golf as of late, especially on Sundays. 63 on a Sunday. He's been in contention in a lot of Sundays recently, so the nerves kind of go away after a while, and he's playing some fantastic golf. Rory McIlroy tied for fourth there were 6 guys T4 at 14 under. It was Aaron Rai, Rory McIlroy, Sungjae Im, Seith Theegala, Colin Morikawa, and Ludwig Ober all finished at 14 under. Ludwig Ober came into the Sunday with a commanding lead. He was 17 under. Nobody really near him. I think the closest was Adam Scott, the closest was Robert MacIntyre, who was 2 strokes back of him going into Sunday, and he just kind of lets it slip. He goes 3 over on the day, having a horrible back 9, and he comes in a T for 4, and he doesn't get a win. Again, this guy is just eluding wins this season. He's been playing some fantastic golf. 6th in the FedEx Cup standings. He's top 5 in the official World Golf Rankings, but he just can't buy a win. Wyndham Clark also played some fantastic golf this week in T10. Corey Connors, Tom Kim, T15 after a couple of disappointing weekends. Xander Schauffele, after a disappointing Thursday, was able to put together 3 solid days to finish T15. And other notable names like Cam Davis, T26, Harris English, T34, Adam Hadwin, T34, Tommy Fleetwood, T34, after a pretty rough Sunday where he finished 1 over. Nikolai Højgaard finished 8 under at T39. Davis Thompson, who's been in contention as of late, T46. Victor Hovland, another disappointing weekend, T46. This guy cannot put together 4 good days of golf, man. So disappointing, but hey. It's a different season than the last one. Justin Thomas, T62, after he was the 18-hole leader. He finished T62. That's tough. Finished with a 62 on he finished with a 62 on Thursday when he finished the entire weekend T62. But finished with a 62 on Thursday, then goes 72, 71, 71, goes 4 over after going 8 under on the first day. Like, he puts himself into he puts himself at the top of the leaderboard and then just plays 3 bad rounds of golf, and he is not the winner. Unfortunate. Max Homa, T70, and then a lot of guys missing the cut. Since it is a joint field event, there was many missed cuts. About, I think like 70 people missed the cut, so a lot more than normal tournaments. But yeah, that is who, that's the leaderboard. Now switching gears over to the superlatives for the weekend. Best driver, we're going to get right into this. Best driver is Rory McIlroy. Whenever he's in a field, it seems like he's always getting the best driver. This guy is the best driver on tour. Second in strokes gained off the tee, first in distance, 13th in accuracy, first in total driving. He is first in total driving for the entire season and continues it here. Very, very impressive, just off the tee season for Rory McIlroy. Best irons, Nikolai Højgaard, third in strokes gains on approach, first in greens and regulation at an 83.33% of greens and regulations hit. Very, very impressive. And then first in proximity to hole as well. Best wedges, and this one shocked me, but it's going to go to Rory McIlroy. He was first in strokes gained around the green, and he did not need to, he didn't need to scramble all too much, but when he did, he got up and down, and it looked very impressive for the entire weekend for Rory McIlroy. So he is first in strokes gained around the green. Missing out on those pot bunkers really, really, really help you, and he did. He didn't hit into a bunker in the weekend, so that leads into the statistic, but very impressive with his wedges around the green. Best putter is going to go to Matt Fitzpatrick. Not too many names at the top of that of the strokes gained putting, and it wasn't very consistent with the total putts made throughout the weekend. So I just give it to Matt Fitzpatrick because he's just a good putter, and it just looked very consistent and very good throughout the weekend for him, although he didn't finish too high up there. I know Wyndham Clark was also up there for strokes gained putting. I think he was third in strokes gained putting. He finished T10, so if you want to give it to him, I wouldn't mind in the headcanon of my superlatives. But Matt Fitzpatrick finishing T39 while putting well is impressive in my opinion. Anyways, most surprising, I give it to Adam Scott. You look at Adam Scott, and it's not that impressive what he's doing this season. This second is his only, or is one of 2 top 10s he has in this entire year, and the other one came in February at the Waste Management Phoenix Open. That's impressive. He hasn't played too great of golf, but he's making cuts at least. He's only missed 2 cuts all year. It was at the PGA Championship and at the Arnold Palmer. But other than that, he is playing some he's playing some mediocre golf, I will say, throughout the year. But was able to capitalize this weekend, almost winning here for the first time in, I think, a couple years. Of course, he turned pro in the year 2000, so has been around for a little while. Shot that he has still not gone to live golf. He feels like a prime candidate to be over there, but he loves playing on the PGA Tour, and that's fair. This season, you look at his stats, and it's kind of pretty impressive. 31st in strokes gained off the tee, which he's always great off the tee. 26th in strokes gained total. 40th in strokes gained putting, which is very impressive for him. But around the green and approach to the green is where he's kind of struggled. 78th and 92nd in those those categories respectively. However, was able to put it together this weekend. So he is the most surprising. The most disappointing goes to a few guys. And I need to get rid of this category. Well, this is my last episode, so can't get rid of it anymore. But it's always the same three guys. It reminds me of I don't know, like the Minerva McGonagall from Harry Potter. Why is it when something happens, it's always you three? It's always these three: Will Zalatoris, Jordan Spieth, Ricky Fowler. These three have been so disappointing this year. I feel like they're here every time I do. I'm most disappointed. Will Zalatoris miscut at 2 over. Jordan Spieth miscut at 1 under. Ricky Fowler miscut at 4 over. These three just, I'm going to lump them into the same group because they're so talented and such good golfers, but they never can get it done on the course, I swear. Whatever that be, but it has been very disappointing. So that'll wrap it up for my superlatives for the Genesis Scottish Open. Now we're going to switch gears all the way over to the Open Championship, the 4th and final major of the season. When I come back, that will be our third segment, talking biggest storylines heading into the final major of the year.
Looking for your daily fix of sports talk without having to pay for it? GSMC Sports Network is available on YouTube. Just search GSMC Sports Network. Get your fix of daily sports talk shows on YouTube, absolutely free. NFL, college football, NBA, MLB, MMA, UFC, fantasy football, and so much more. GSMC Sports Network has shows running all day long, with new sports shows starting every 2 hours. Just like on your favorite cable sports channel, except GSMC Sports Network is absolutely free. Just search GSMC Sports Network on YouTube to catch one of your new favorite shows, like the GSMC College Football Podcast, Chip Shot Football Podcast, Hoops and Heels Women's Sports Podcast, GSMC Basketball Podcast, and so many more. Check it out for yourself. GSMC Sports Network, now available on YouTube absolutely free. Search GSMC Sports Network on YouTube right now.
Welcome back to the GSMC Golf Podcast, presented by the GSMC Sports Network. I'm your host, Garrison McDaniel, and we're here with our third segment of the night, talking about the biggest storylines heading into the final major of the year at the Open Championship at Royal Troon Golf Course. So I think I'm going to go in kind of ascending order. So what I think is the least important headline going into this weekend to most important headline. So I'm going to start with Phil Mickelson. This guy is fantastic at this golf course. The Royal Troon has treated him very well. He is 53 years old though. So I'm not going to say that he's going to win another major to add to his cabinet, which is very, very impressive. Of course, one of the best golfers of all time, probably one of the best lefty golfers of all time as well. He has not played into the weekend at the Open since 2018. That is 5 missed cuts in a row. And in his last 5 majors, he has missed 4 of the last 5 majors he's played in total cuts. But he's fantastic at Royal Troon. The last 2 times that it's been played as the Open Championship golf course, it has been in 2004 and 2016. 2016, he finished runner-up to Henrik Stenson, and in 2004, he was 3rd place. There's only been 3 golfers in the 320 in 312 that have beaten Mickelson in the last 2 Opens played here. That is very impressive. He can definitely he can't. I'm not saying that it's probable that he'll make a charge here, but he definitely could make a charge here, and it won't be improbable. If that makes sense. I think I don't know if that made sense. But anyways, next up, we're going to talk about Jon Rahm. This guy has played some bad golf when he comes onto the PGA Tour this year. It was the worst ever title defense at the Masters, missing the cut as Scottie Scheffler won his 2nd in 3 years. And then he missed the cut at Valhalla. And then at the U.S. Open, he had to withdraw. He hasn't played into a weekend of a major this year. He's playing good golf on LIV. You look at the stats. You look at his team is second in overall team there. He's one of the highest placing players there. He's one of the best in statistical categories on Live. What is wrong with him when he comes onto the PGA Tour? There has to be something mental that goes into it. That's the only way that makes sense in my head. That it just has to be something mental that goes into it, because this guy stinks when he comes onto the PGA Tour. Miscut, withdraw is his major finishes this year. You need to in this day and age of golf, if you're gonna go and play on Live, you need to be able to perform when you come into the majors on the PGA Tour to keep your name held into the highest regards, like Bryson DeChambeau, like Brooks Koepka. These guys went to Live and still won majors and still put up impressive results in majors consistently. You think of guys like Dustin Johnson, who is older than the other guys, but he's playing some bad golf when it comes to Live golf. And it's not, and it's translating when he comes to the PGA Tour, and we just know him as, not a guy in contention in weekends now. Is Jon Rahm going to be one of those guys? I can't imagine. This guy is so good, right? He was the world number 1 a year ago today. That might not be true. It still might have been Scottie Scheffler, but he was up there, right? Him and Scottie definitely shared time a year ago today. So it's been disappointing. Let's see if he can get back on track. Bryson DeChambeau has been unbelievable in majors this year. A T10 at the Masters. He had a great finish at T2, or not a T2. I think he got a sole second at the PGA Championship, and then he won the whole dang thing at the U.S. Open. This guy has put in some very impressive. So can he continue with the majors? This could be one of the best seasons that we've seen from a guy only playing in 4 tournaments of all time. There's not been many people that have been able to win multiple majors in a single season, and Bryson DeChambeau looks to add himself to that list. Although he is horrible he's horrible at the Open Championship. In the United Kingdom, he's recorded 1 top 30 finish in his career at the Open Championship, and then all the other have been below that. He has been he's been kind of revitalized. He's fixed his short game, which is a lot of English golf, is a lot of bunker work, a lot of around the green work. So we'll see how much that can change when it comes to the US, or when it comes to the Open Championship here this weekend, if he's able to make amends to his bad play in England or in the United Kingdom. The next one, I'm going to go with Rory McIlroy. Let's talk about it. He played bad on Sunday at the US Open, and now he's going into another major. You can very much tell that when it comes to majors with Rory McIlroy, there's a lot of anxiety in him about it. He hasn't won since 2014. He's one of the best golfers of this generation, and he only has 5 majors. I think he only has 5 majors, which, I mean, he just should have more. He has less than Brooks Koepka, and Brooks Koepka started later than him. He's a fantastic golfer. It's just so disappointing to see him not be able to put it together when it comes to the majors. And when he does, he has just a blow up. And it's like, what just happened? It's like a shock. So yeah, Rory McIlroy is coming into this one. You could tell there's going to be anxiety in him. What's it going to look like when he does come to, when he plays at Royal Troon? Is he going to be able to, because golf is such a mental game, such a mental sport, is he going to be able to put that to bed? Is he going to be able to get those, voices out of his head, not like actual like voices inside of his head, but him telling himself like, you can't win a major, this is going bad, this is, everything wrong that could go in a golfer's brain is probably going on in Rory's brain leading into this major, especially with how he played at the US Open. Is he going to be able to rebound? That's a huge storyline. And then I'm going to be talking about, and you have to talk about him whenever he's in a field. You guys, it's like LeBron doing anything in basketball. It's like you just have to talk about him. It's Tiger Woods. Of course, it's Tiger Woods. This guy is going to be in the field again. He looks good, and a lot of people are saying he looks very slim. Earlier this year, he looked big. He looked just like bulky. It looked like he spent a lot of time in the gym on his upper body, which he did, and you could just tell it's kind of disproportionate. Now it looks good, and he's saying he feels well. But here's the thing with Tiger Woods is no matter what, he will say that he feels good. Like, it does not matter. He has always just been like, yep, my body feels really good, and I think that I can I think I could win the major. I wouldn't be playing. I wouldn't be in the field if I didn't think that I could win. So I'm going to be winning. You know, it's just always like, he always has so much confidence. And then when it comes to his actual play, well, he misses cuts a lot. Since his car accident in 2021, he's been very, very bad at majors. And we just don't know if he's going to come back, get back to that same form that we saw him, even in 2019, winning the Masters. And then, last but certainly not least, it's going to have to be Scottie Scheffler. What does like a T10 do for him here? Nothing for his season. It's a good season with 6 wins, and if he were to win here, it would be one of the best seasons of all time. Multiple majors, 7 wins in a season. We still haven't even gotten into the FedEx Cup tournament, which he could definitely add some more wins at. But if he loses, that's only 1 major. First off, it's 1 major. Second off, a lot of the field is playing on Live Golf and not playing in the same tournaments that he's getting his 6 wins in. Yes, he won the Masters, which is very impressive, but other than that, it doesn't stack up to any of Tiger's seasons. It doesn't stack up to the Vijay Singh season in 2004. It doesn't stack up to probably Mickelson's seasons where he won multiple majors. Maybe even doesn't stack up to Jordan Spieth's season where he won multiple majors. Yes, he made probably 20 times as much money as those guys did for those seasons, but it just doesn't stack up. Scottie Scheffler has had a prolific season. It's been very, very impressive, but he needs a result. He needs to win it here if he wants to have one of the best seasons of all time. If he doesn't win it here, it's a great season. It's not one of the best of all time. So that will wrap it up for my biggest storylines heading into the final major of the year. When I get back from my third break of the night, we'll be talking about the course breakdown for Royal Troon, the location for the 2024 Open Championship.
For the best and latest podcasts available anywhere, go to the podcast app on your cell phone and type in GSMC to access free content-rich podcasts on health and wellness, book reviews, sports, entertainment, relationships, social media, movies, technology, finance, and even weird news. Subscribe and download the GSMC Podcast Network's family of shows, available everywhere podcasts are found.
Welcome back to the GSMC Golf Podcast, presented by the GSMC Sports Network. I'm your host, Garrison McDaniel, and we're into our 4th segment and penultimate segment of me here at the GSMC Golf Podcast. Feeling emotional yet? I sure am not. Anyways, it's not because I won't miss this. It's just I'm not an emotional person, but I will miss doing this. I did enjoy a lot about doing the GSMC Golf Podcast. But anyways, we're gonna stay on topic here, talking about Royal Troon Golf Course. It is a short golf course. It's a par 71 that plays about. Because I usually do this on Thursday, so I usually get to see how it plays out through the weekend. But there isn't. It doesn't give me too great of help with the course stats. For right now, at least, it's a 7,400 yard par 71, so a pretty long golf course where a a lot of par 4s, and it's a tale of 2 9s. The back 9 is difficult. It's one of the hardest stretches of golf that we'll see on tour. In it is the most difficult hole that we'll see on tour all season, but I forget which one that is, and I'm very disappointed that I have forgotten which one that is. Anyways, the first hole is a par 4 that plays pretty straight away. You have the problem with this golf course that a lot of guys will run into is the greenside bunkers that are just gonna be very, very difficult. When we played Royal Troon previously, it was in 2022-2023 season, and Brian Harmon won at 13 under, but a lot of guys at 7 under. The course played very, very difficult. Some other guys like Rory McIlroy played very well. John Rahm had a T2 here, but I don't know if I could see their scorecard. I cannot see their scorecards, unfortunately, from those rounds. That would be fantastic if I could, because I could see how that the course played then. But anyways, I'm unable to, which is very disappointing. But previous winners here: Cameron Smith, Colin Morikawa, Shane Lowry, Jordan Spieth. So you can kind of see who wins here. Irons. It's accuracy and iron play, which is, I mean, it's just so much of, UK golf, so it does make sense. Cameron Smith, one of the best iron players. Colin Morikawa, one of the best iron players. Jordan Spieth, one of the best iron players. So it absolutely makes sense. Phil Mickelson has also won here in 2013, but that was not even during when it was an Open Championship course. He just won here in 2013. But anyways, getting back to the holes, getting back to the design of the course, it plays very long, but these guys are going to be able to make quick work of it. That's not really the concern here. The concern is the pot bunkers all over the course and the turtle greens. These greens are just brutal, is the only way I can describe it. It just funnels out and it makes guys look silly. So we start with a par 4 that's 366, go into a par 4 that's 389, go into a par 4 that's 376, 3 straight par 4s that you can have about 70, 80 yards into the pin if you play your cards right with your drive, but I would anticipate a lot of fairway wood action off the tee starting the tournament. I would probably expect all 3 of those holes to be a fairway wood hole. So around 270 to 300 is going to be the drives compared to the 310, 340 that we're used to seeing. Our fourth hole is a par 5, about 600 yards, very long par 5 that goes a little bit to the right, and it has a little bit of hazard before the fairway on the right side, but that should be completely out of play. Not too many bunkers to worry about either. Next one is a 202-yard par 3, I believe. It's a 220-yard par 3, sorry, and it plays pretty typical to a par 3, but it is long, so it makes it just a tad more difficult. Next, hole 6 is a straightaway par 5 that goes 623 yards. That's not a par 4. That would be brutal if that was a par 4. So very long par 5s is kind of the story. It has 600, 623 for the par 5s on the front 9. On the back 9, the par 5 is 572. So only 3 par 5s. A lot of par 4s on this golf course. And whenever you do get a par 5, it is very long. So difficult scoring is going to be the name of the game this weekend. Par 4, 7th is 403 yards. There's our first 400-yard par 4. Par 3, 8th is 123 yards. So a very finesse shot there for the 8th. These guys can definitely go out there and make up some ground on that hole. The par 4, 440, 9th hole is going to be one of the more difficult holes. Par 4, 10th, 450, par 4, 11th, 498. I think this is the hole that's the most difficult. That's going to be the most difficult throughout the year. It has those bunkers that are, the pot-sized bunkers, and it has a cart path so close to the fairway on the right side. So maybe somebody could get a good bounce on that, but more often than not, that's going to cause some difficulty. And this golf course is going to play very difficult. It is, the guys that love low scoring golf tournaments like we saw at Pinehurst Lake, we didn't see at Valhalla, they're going to like this one a lot. Next, you got a par 4 12th, that's 451 yard, par 4 13, 473. So we had a stretch of 5 straight par 4s, and then you finally get back to a par 3, that's 200 yards, still a long par 3. 502 yard par 4, a very difficult one on that 15th. Par 5, 572 on the 16th. 17th is a 242 par 3. That's one of the longer par 3s that I've seen on tour this year. And then par 4, 18th, 458 to round off the round. So like I said, looking at just past results, it was 13 under that won this in 22-23. 20 under won this course in 21-22. But like I said, a lot of renovation to this tournament since then. So I do believe that it's going to play a lot more difficult than this. Or than it did in recent memory. Francesco Molinari, 8 under in 2017-2018 is what more or less what I expect this tournament to play like. A 3 under Phil Mickelson won in 2013, 7 under Ernie Els in 2012. So that makes more sense. A 3 over won this. 3 over won the tournament in 2008. That's we can't be having that guy. In 2008, 3 over won the tournament. Anyways, I got sidetracked there. That's awful. But yeah, unfortunately, I don't have more in depth for you guys here because it is Tuesday, opposed to when I usually do this on Thursday. I don't have the handicap numbers, although I can definitely see, the most difficult hole on the golf course for regular play. I can't see it for tournament play. Is the par 4 6th, but it only has it listed going 409 yards, and here I have it listed at par 5 that goes 623. So it's I am unable to see the handicap on this tournament, which is unfortunate because it would make it a lot easier for me because tournament and regular play is completely different. But that'll wrap it up for our fourth segment of the night, talking about the course breakdown of Royal Troon. When I come back from my fourth break of the night, we will be talking about my picks and predictions for the Open Championship. Welcome back to the GSMC Golf Podcast, presented by the GSMC Sports Network. We're back with our fifth and final segment of this entire trip. We talked about already. This is my final podcast here at the GSMC Sports Network, and this is the final segment here, going into my picks and prediction for the Open Championship. I made during my picks and predictions going into the Genesis Scottish Open. You know who I picked to win? It was Ludwig Åberg. He should have won. He should have made me. I was so close to getting one. I think I predicted one winner this season. I think I predicted Scotty Scheffler to win twice, and those are my only 2 correct predictions I've had this entire season. So, unfortunately, Ludwig Berg had to just kind of collapse on Sunday, like Rory McIlroy did at the U.S. Open. It's a low blow. I know, my bad, but couldn't make me right. That's the phrasing I was going for. Anyways, the betting odds leader is Scotty Scheffler at a ridiculous 450 or plus 450. That's crazy. He's like the heavy favorite here. Next up is Rory McIlroy at plus 850. Next up, Xander Schauffele at plus 1100. Next up, Ludwig Berg at 1600. Colin Morikawa tied with Ludwig Berg at 1600. And then Bryson DeChambeau finally comes in at plus 1800. John Rahm's up there at plus 2,500. Brooks Koepka plus 3,000. Victor Hovland plus 3,000. Robert McIntyre coming off a win plus 4,000. Other big names like Jordan Spieth is plus 6,000. I think that's too good for him. Anyways, Jason Day's plus 10,000. Davis Thompson, who's having a pretty solid back half to his season, at plus 10,000 as well. Max Homa plus 11,000. DJ at plus 12,000. Some other big names like Tiger Woods at plus 20,000. Tiger Woods has the same odds as Ricky Fowler. I feel like that's pretty fair too. Anyways, other big names. Phil Mickelson's gonna be here somewhere. Padraig Harrington is plus 35,000, although he hasn't played golf in a minute, or at least hasn't played on the PGA Tour in a minute. Of course, winning at the Open Championship, he is exempt until he's 60, allowed to play here for a while. Francesco Molinari, who won this event only 5 years ago, is plus 70,000. And Phil Mickelson comes in. That's the one that I'm still looking for. John Daly's in this field. He's plus 500,000. Those might be too good of odds for him. We'll see if he is able to play an entire round. It would be a shock. He's a fun guy to see in the field, though. I was looking for Phil Mickelson and still haven't gotten him. There he is, plus 40,000 for Phil Mickelson. So those are the to win odds. Who do I really like? Well, to win, Bryson DeChambeau at plus 1,800 is pretty good odds. For me, first off, I don't think Scotty Scheffler's game really plays too well in the United Kingdom. He hasn't had too many great results at the Open Championships of years past, and he didn't get the experience at the Genesis Scottish Open that a lot of these guys did this last week, which I do think comes back to hurt him. I think, it's the right decision for him. We talked about that last Thursday, about him not being in the field. Whether or not that's the right decision overall, it's the right decision for him probably. Tommy Fleetwood plus 2,200 is a good look there. Guy's got some good irons and knows what it takes to win in the United Kingdom in links golf. Colin Morikawa, who has not won yet this season, although having such a fantastic season, not winning yet is kind of shocking. If I do say so. He's been one of the best players on tour this year. But when you have Scotty Scheffler winning 6 times, when you have Rory McIlroy winning a couple times, and when he's just not in the field for the smaller events, it just leads him to It leads this kind of result. Looking at the results for Colin Morikawa this year, T4 at the Scottish Open, T13 at the Travelers, T14 at the U.S. Open, 2nd at the Memorial, 4th at the Charles Schwab, T4 at the PGA Championship. His last 6 tournaments that he's played in, his worst is a T14 at the U.S. Open. He's playing really, really good golf. That's a good bet. I love Colin Morikawa this weekend. I think that his iron play looks amazing. I think that his driving accuracy, which you really need in the United Kingdom, looks pretty good. And if he can just make the putts he needs to make, I think he is a fairly good favorite for this weekend. If I have to, I talked about this last Thursday, gun-ahead prediction. If I have to make one, I would say this weekend is Colin Morikawa. I said Ludwig Berg last weekend. I'm going to say Colin Morikawa this weekend. Ludwig Berg was fantastic through 54 holes and 36 holes, just 3 over. I'm not going to get over that, man. I'm so disappointed because I thought I had it. Anyways. Bryson DeChambeau is a really good shout, too. This guy has just completely changed his game to be more in tune with majors, be able to play very well at the majors, has a lot of time off playing in live golf, and uses it to his advantage. He's been playing some very, very, very good golf as of late in his career. Rory McIlroy, a top 5 at plus 200, I like a lot. He's always in contention. His year has been very impressive, just like Colin Morikawa. You look at Rory McIlroy's recent results with his 2 wins that he's had this season. Looking at his recent results, if it can pull up, he has had a T4 at the Genesis Scottish Open, a 2nd at the U.S. Open, that is well documented, a T15 at the Memorial, T4 at the Canadian, T12 at the PGA Championship, 1 at the Wells Fargo, 1 at the Zurich. So if you take it all the way back to mid-April, he has not gotten worse than a T15 this season. Of course, that is only 7 tournaments that he's played in since mid-April, because this guy just doesn't play in that many tournaments. He only plays in signature events and majors, or the Genesis Scottish Open, but that's because it is in the United Kingdom, and he loves tournaments in the United Kingdom. But not playing in too many tournaments kind of it has worked for him this season. It's caused a lot of good results, the worst being a T15 in the last 3 months. So very, very impressive for Rory McIlroy. So a top 5 feels very within him. Feels really in the cards for Rory McIlroy. I think for this week, I'm staying away from Xander Schauffele. He has not been playing too good of golf as of late, and I just don't see that. I don't see that getting better. And so I'm gonna just say stay away from Xander Schauffele. I just don't like him as much for this weekend. Other names that I'm gonna stay away from: John Rahm with the 10-foot pole. He's getting the Jordan Spieth treatment for me. Until he shows that he can have a good result, he is staying at an arm's length away. Victor Hovland, very much similar. He's gonna stay at an arm's length away until he proves that he can he can play well. Brooks Koepka also is gonna. Well, Brooks Koepka at a top 10 is not a bad bet. Plus 300, plus money for Brooks Koepka in a top, or plus 300 for Brooks Koepka in a top 10 is pretty good. He is a fantastic golfer. Kind of same like Joaquin Niemann has had a fantastic season on LIV, and he comes in at a plus 5,500. That's not a bad long shot. If I have to give a pick from around like the plus 4,000 to plus 10,000 region, it might be Joaquin Niemann at plus 5,500 over guys like Cameron Smith at 4,500, over guys like Matt Fitzpatrick, Sahith Theegala. Looking kind of down the board, Justin Thomas can definitely win. I mean, he just always has that like one major performance in a season where you're kind of like, oh right, Justin Thomas is a good golfer. And this could definitely be that. Other names like Akshay Bhatia has been playing some fantastic golf as of late. Davis Thompson has been playing fantastic golf as of late. Both of those guys coming around 10,000. Akshay Bhatia being a 9,000. So those are my picks for this weekend. I think that it's going to be a very fun weekend of golf for the Open Championship. I'm looking forward to it. Absolutely. Of course, when we're talking about majors, we're talking about legacy. We're talking about a opportunity to add basically a ring, right? Comparing it to other sports, this is, a guy getting a ring, basically. So, very important for these guys to win majors. Very important for these guys when the opportunity comes to capitalize on it, especially when they're in the prime of their career, right? Tiger Woods able to capitalize on it, winning 17. Jack Nicklaus able to capitalize it, winning all. He has so many, I forget. But these guys just capitalize. The best golfers in the world are able to win the majors when it counts. So, Scottie Scheffler, we're looking at you. Rory McIlroy, we're looking at you. Other guys, Bryson DeChambeau is doing pretty well. I'm not going to put him on the hot seat right now, but definitely could, keep going. Could win a third major. Winning outside of the U.S. Open would be very impressive. So that'll wrap it up for the GSMC Golf Podcast, presented by the GSMC Sports Network. I thank all of you guys for your support throughout this entire journey. I have enjoyed it, and I have learned and improved a lot throughout this stretch of being here at the GSMC Golf or GSMC Sports Network. I would love to give credit to Andrew Tate, who is our boss here, for helping out throughout this entire process, being able to help me kind of become acclimated and having such a great environment to work in here at the GSMC Sports Network. So thank you for all of your support that I've gotten throughout this entire journey. If you enjoyed this episode and would like to support the GSMC Sports Network, remember to like and subscribe on YouTube or rate us on whatever podcasting platform you're listening to this on. If you would like more content and updates from the GSMC Sports Network as well, use the tips and donations link. Follow us on TikTok, Twitter, Facebook, or Instagram at GSMC Sports Network. Thank you guys once again for tuning in, and all of you guys have a fantastic and wonderful evening.